So final one's taken a local turn, so it's one that has been said quite a lot, but it was the and taken a couple of generations away. Would be the Forest Green playoff game away at the New Lawn in May 2019. That was just a culmination of so much. So that the Forest Green playoff defeat at Wembley. I was living in Gloucester at the time, and it was just a horrible occasion in the end. Driving back on the, coming back on the train, and it's been full of Forest Green fans on the tube coming the same way, which is quite surprising. Seeing as you'd like to think they would have stayed for a bit longer at the end of the game since they've won, but yeah, so it was. And all the way back on the motorway was, not many of them, but there was enough of them to annoy me. Forest Green fans with scarves in their windows and that side of things, and the local newspapers for the next week, the local news all being about Forest Green winning that day, and it just dug the knife in so much more. And also since about 1997, there was a huge, when Forest Green got promotion, Cheltenham and Forest Green, you wouldn't think of it now, they had a real big love-in the late 90s of both hating Gloucester City and Gloucester. So being a Gloucester boy, I took umbrage to that. So despite my brother being there for a bit, and I've watched probably close to about 50 of their games when they were back in non-league in the early 90s. I have a severe disliking for them. Not so much now Mark Cooper's gone and things are a bit different. But when we won that day, it was a combination of so many feelings coming out. To think we've got a huge one over on you here, especially if we win next week. We've got a great one, and it was I might have accidentally got pushed on by somebody onto the pitch, and I might have gone onto the pitch that day. I couldn't possibly say, but it was just a huge relief. And I think, as it's been said many times in this pod as well, it was an absolute tactical masterclass from Mickey that day. It was the most comfortable 1-1 draw I've ever felt I've experienced, even though they did take an early lead. And what I loved, is an error from Scott Davis for the goal, but Scott Davis was a colossus in the box that day. After that, he came out and got everything, did everything that was required of him. And I think that's what I did like about Scotty as well. If he made a mistake, he would it wouldn't phase him. He would still be the same keeper after and be as strong-willed. And I just remember seeing Kieran Morris running his heart out all day, all energy, and that James Norwood goal, it just, once the layoff was made and it fell to him, he just knew it was going to hit the back of the net, and the celebration just made it all the better as well, because it was exactly what I was thinking as well. And Forest Green have got, a lot of quite loud young fans, and it was quite nice to, being an older chap myself, for someone on our side to keep them quiet. So it was a really satisfying thing. And yeah, there's you get a lot of Forest Green advertisements around here because of what they do. The number 46 bus that comes through here used to go to Nailsworth, but as soon as Forest Green started doing well, it now goes to Forest Green, even though Forest Green is, no one knows where, it might have got 8 people living in the actual village of Forest Green, or even if it is a village, I don't know. But so that day, so the game itself, it's been spoken about many times on here, was just brilliantly done from Mickey. We got the win which got us to Wembley, and that day at Wembley the next time is probably, it's been on here many times, it probably was my favourite tramway matches as number one in terms of feelings afterwards, in terms of it was just absolute pure ecstasy. And so that day, from a very personal point of view, from being in this area, just being got the road, the A46 is about 50 yards from where I'm currently sat, which ends up going very close to the ground. So it's as a crow flies, it's not very far from here, but it was as satisfying as they came that day.
I reckon you might be the only person in the world who actually knows a Forest Green fan, because there are so few of them. What was the media coverage like after this one then? Obviously, it was quite rightly blown up after they win the playoff final and get into the Football League for the first time in 2017. Were you smugly buying the paper the next morning, trying to flick through and find what Mark Cooper had said, or did you just kind of carry on with your life?
Yeah, I got all the papers. I don't buy the Stroud News and Journal because it doesn't come out very regularly, and you have to go to Stroud to get it, and I'm not going to do that. But you've got the Gloucester Citizen has their bit in it as well, and it doesn't anymore because it's only a weekly paper now, and the Western Daily Press as well. I did get them, and it was just brilliant for Mark Cooper's gloomy face and how the world was against him, basically. It was just a one-day story that day. It didn't carry on. It was just the match report, and then it was back to end of season stuff because, yeah, they're not. They make the local press around here a lot with what they do off the pitch rather than what seems to happen on it. It seems most of the time. Dale Vince is a very loud voice in the area, and you know, there's a lot of people around here who work for Ecotricity, and yeah, I know people who work there, and they say they do say he's an excellent, very personal person, excellent boss, comes and speaks to people of all levels. But that, yeah, so you see a lot of it from that. But yeah, the coverage was really satisfying to watch in the local news and seeing the goals on TV. And I can't watch that Norwood goal enough in that celebration. So yeah, it was a great time.